This ad is called the Living Room Circle. It is one of the print advertisements made for the series called Break the Circle in the campaign Save the Children back in Mexico in the year 2012, where it was made to promote children's rights and protect them from violence, abuse, neglect, and exploitation. At first glance, it is unclear and uncertain what product or ideology the ad is trying to sell. There is no obvious visual item shown in bright, obtrusive colors, therefore, it would require more effort to investigate the symbolisms to finally grasp and understand the message behind it. The middle part of the ad shows a woman that appears to be yelling at a petrified child. It seems to be that this is the focal point as it is situated in the center, where most eyes would firstly scan, supported by the emphasized hidden lights shining from above, making the two characters glow more, which creates the impression that this is the most important message of the design, as certainly, the message has something to do with child abuse, thus providing an idea on what the ad is about. Most likely, one of the factors that will primarily stand out first is the mood. It's grim, dull, flat, uninviting, and somber. The colors used appear to come from the same family but in different shades, and with the use of limited lighting from the blocked window and dimmed lamps, it creates a darker, more muted environment, which overall provides a subtle visual image, eliciting a sense of mourning and distress, which can also be a representation of the feelings of the abused child, therefore aiming to create a connection and sense of empathy from the viewers. The color brown, according to many websites, evokes a sense of strength, security, and safety, which is also often associated with the color of the earth, which is solid and stable. On the other hand, it is also said that it may create a feeling of loneliness, sorrow, and isolation, which describe the predicament of the child. For indeed, abuse carries with it these negative emotions. It is extremely ironic that this color, supposedly used to symbolize strength, security, and safety, is the same color that describes a child's suffering, which shows contrast and incongruity, displaying a heavy difference between expectations and reality that conceals a more powerful meaning. Next are the people involved in the image. They are females, all wearing light pink, which can suggest that they are the same person in different ages, as their physical features, such as their hair color, remain unchanged. They form a somewhat circular shape around the couch, symbolizing how child violence affects the different development stages of life, from childhood to adulthood. They are spaced accordingly to effectively show their facial expressions and body language. The youngest, who's sitting on the couch on the left, shows a strong frightened expression by the way she tilts her posture to defend herself and covers her ears with her hands to block the loud screaming noise. To add, the doll and its ruined hair, which is scattered on the floor, emphasizes anguish and affliction, which relates to the overall mood. On her left is another girl who's a few years older, perhaps in middle school, showing a sorrowful expression as her head tilts towards the ground as if looking at her younger self feeling sorry. The middle character expresses an anxious facial expression, as if in denial and refusing to deal with hurtful memories from childhood. The one on the furthest right shows agitation, heightened frustration, and tension, like almost in the verge of emotion explosion. Also, most likely due to traumatic experiences occurred in childhood. And lastly, the character confronting the child displays anger and rage through her posture, tense hand gesture, and implied screaming at the child. All these elements come together to represent the effects of abuse to a child as she goes through different stages of life, from fright to sadness to anxiety and confusion to agitation and frustration, and finally, their uncontrolled rage and fury. Perhaps even the doll on the table may show a younger state version of the child, which strengthens the message of the never-ending cycle of detrimental consequences of child abuse. The different female characters may also insinuate that when the child grows up and have children of her own, there's a high chance that she would also perform abusive acts towards them. And then when they grow up, the cycle repeats just like in the representation. Considering all these, it can be concluded that the ad was targeted for adults, especially for parents or people who deal with children, such as teachers. This is because they contain more complex meanings, which only adults can mainly comprehend, as it is them who the campaign is calling out to create a change, as they have the capability to discontinue and break the cycle of this violence. Moreover, the use of visual elements of the ad is not made to be attractive for children or even teenagers, as majority of them are more enticing vivid, brighter tints containing immediate obvious information with few meaning symbolisms. So, let's break the cycle and save the children.